Hello, welcome to this video. In this video, we're going to be talking about one of those big problems that everyone has in business, and actually it can be a really difficult time, and that's getting your accounts and bookkeeping ready to be able to send to your accountant so that they can complete the tax returns or book accounts for you. Or maybe you're looking to do your own and you just need to have that confidence that everything's been done correctly. Well, all this is related to what's called year-end checklist, and in today's video I'm going to be handing out to you a free year-end checklist. Really straightforward, really simple, so that you can have that confidence that everything's ready within QuickBooks for your accountant to complete. My name's Aaron Patrick. Let's roll this intro and let's get on with exactly how to make sure your year-end procedure is a-okay. Hello, my name is Aaron Patrick. I am a chartered accountant, a certified UK trainer with fancy new logo, that QuickBooks chap on the internet, head of accounts here at Bookkeeping, and also your friendly podcaster who goes live each and every Monday morning, 8:30 AM for Ask the Accountant. Now in today's video, we're going to be talking all about that year-end checklist. What you need to make sure within QuickBooks is absolutely spot on so that accounts can be produced, tax returns can be completed, or your accountant can give you the most amount of information and support that you need. This video is what we use for our clients to make sure that they have tip-top year-end accounts so that we can make sure that when we're preparing them accounts and we're putting together their tax return, that we're not having to do lots of backwards and forwards with them. It also means they get more value for money as well, because instead of us having to actually go ahead and actually complete some of these tasks, when we know they've been completed, well, we know then we don't need to charge for that extra feature, charge for that extra solution, and it's just going to make things so much easier for them. So join me as we have a look at our year-end procedure checklist, which I'm giving away for free in this very video. Let's have a look. Okay then everybody, so let's have a quick look at what we've got here. This is my YouTube channel. Hopefully you've kind of recognized this one. If not, why are you not subscribed? Remember, over here you'll normally find a nice little subscribe button to make sure you have subscribed. But on every single video, it doesn't matter which one we choose, you'll notice that there is a link tree here to my page. And within here there's loads of options. You can book meetings, you can get discounted QuickBooks licenses. From our online store, you can go visit my accounting practice called Bookkeeping, or if we go down to this one, we have forms and resources. And if I talk about any form of checklist or account, or if there's anything that I'm actually giving away within my videos, it's all in this area. So on here, you've got opportunity to make changes to Company's House or HMRC via Bookkeeping. You can see if your direct debits are up to date for VAT. What I want you to make a look at is the resources section and your free year-end checklist. From here, you'll see the checklist on this screen there, and this is what we're going to use with today's video. You get to have the opportunity to put your company name, year-end in there, and then we're going to go through all of these tick sheets here to make sure that we are happy with each and every one of them. So first of all, let's get ourselves signed into QuickBooks and do a little year-end checklist together. All right then, so we're logged into QuickBooks. Now the first area is all around the bank, because if your bank's correct, then you're most of the way there within your QuickBooks experience. If your bank's not correct though, we can't really be doing any form of finalisation if we haven't got the bank correct. So first section is ensure bank connections are active. So I head over to my banking area, go into banking. What I'm making sure is there's no error messages like we've got here, look, and there. Basically, we want to be going through each of these banks, and every time we see an error, we want to be fixing it. So first thing I'm going to do is go into this one here. I can even use the handy manage connections option just there. And you can see I need to authenticate and manage consent. Now manage consent is the easy one. If I go to manage consent, basically it's saying that since the 31st of July, I haven't managed the consent here. All I need to do is confirm it. Same with these ones here. So I just manage consent, reconfirm, and then it keeps going. What you really want to be looking out for though is authenticate account like we've got there. That means that at this point in time, the connection's completely dropped. Therefore, I need to be going through, reconnect it, going through the procedures, making sure it's all reconnected. That's what we mean by ensure bank connections are active. All items are cleared from for review. Now, this is crucial. So in the banking area, I want to be making sure that this number here, at the moment it says 31, doesn't say 31, but it says a nice little tick there. The 31 indicates that we have 31 transactions within QuickBooks banking area the QuickBooks is aware of, but haven't actually put it into QuickBooks themselves. So we need to be going through and dealing with each one of these transactions. You need to be making sure you keep on top of this. And once you have added all the transactions, you'll go from a 31 to a tick, and it's that tick that means that you've gone through and added all of the transactions to QuickBooks Online. Therefore, making sure that all the transactions, even if it's after date, because after date transactions can be really critical to what's happened in your year, and really, really important just to get everything up to date. Use this time to make sure that you're on top of all of your transactions in QuickBooks, because what that will ensure is that you will know exactly what's going on after your financial year end. And that means that any accruals or prepayments, any debtors or creditors that are outstanding can have much more of a meaningful impact to look at when we have after-date information. So please do make sure that you've reviewed all transactions up to date. Next is bank accounts balanced. Now this one is making sure we're looking at these numbers here. The bank balance of 14132 and the in QuickBooks balance of 11933, but ideally you want them to be the same. Now I've done loads of videos on what to do when they're not, and you can go and have a look at those videos about trying to find the differences. But ultimately what you want to be in a position is, and you want to be in a position like this, where both the bank balance and the in QuickBooks balance are the same figure. That's going to give you confidence that everything's been posted and we're very okay. Unlike the tied account here, which I'm going to have to use my previous video to find out exactly why there's a difference there. I would use this opportunity to make sure rules are in place. So over here in the rules area at the top, making sure that this has been looked at and the rules are. Like you see here, I've got loads of rules there, meaning that a lot of my work is going to be automated. And I highly recommend you do the same. Use this opportunity to have a look at rules. And bonus tip, make sure your receipt capture areas are cleared as well. Just go through and clear any of these ones out here, because it's just going to make your life easier, and it could be some expenses you've missed out on. So just go through matching, creating bills and creating expenses based on the right criteria. Ensure no items are incorrectly excluded. So within the banking area, you want to be going to the excluded tab just here. You're spending time in full review and categorize, but why are there excluded transactions? Realistically, any excluded transactions to me is a bit of a red herring, a bit of a problem. And most of the time, I would highly recommend that you don't have excluded items in there. Excluded items should only ever be errors or issues within your banking. They shouldn't be anything that's not related to the business. So if you have got maybe personal expenses, for example, they should be going to your director's loan account / drawings. You shouldn't be excluding them. Very rarely should we ever use the exclude functionality. So please, please use this opportunity, have a look through these and just make sure that they are correctly excluded and you're not going to leave yourself with any problems. Reconcile all bank accounts. Now this one is absolutely crucial. Now there's various ways to get to bank reconciliation. I tend to like to go to bank register in the right hand corner and use your reconcile option up there, but there's loads of ways you can do the same from the accounting area, reconcile, and from the company cog you can do reconcile here as well. But either way, when you get to the reconcile area, you want to be making sure that each of your banks are correct. If you see any messages like this one, you need to be dealing with those transactions as they come along. Let's go find one that we know we can do though. So the business bank account. When you go to reconcile, it's originally going to look very similar to this screen. Quite daunting. You've got statement ending balance at the top, beginning balance there. You've got your cleared balance here. And ultimately what should happen, especially if you've gone through and added everything, is that anything with a green blob will automatically have a tick. Anything without, you've got to decide should it be there or not. And you're going to go through and tick them. And ultimately you want to come back to this difference of £0. What does that mean? Well, that means that the money that you say is in your bank account is exactly the same as the money that's in QuickBooks Online. And that's crucially important for confidence and making sure that we've got everything we need within QuickBooks itself. If you're not able to reconcile your bank account at this point, if there is any issues, then they need to be dealt with. Again, I've got plenty of videos on how to reconcile banks and what to look out for and problems. So just have a look through my channel to give you tips and tricks on how to do it. Once you've reconciled them though, I would definitely head over to the summary account. The summary area is going to tell you when you last reconciled each and every bank account. And ideally, these dates here have to be after the year end. In my case, yes, I've done a really good job of getting my business bank and my NatWest account done, but my Revolut's probably out of date at this point, so I really need to reconcile that. And my eBay managed payment and my Revolut Metal account certainly out of date. Now, if I'm not using that Revolut Metal account, fine, reconcile to today's date with 0 and make sure then it is still 0 that's shown there. Every figure that's on here, definitely go through and make sure this reconciled on figure, make sure this reconciled on date is after your year end. If it's not after your year end, these are the sort of things that we as accountants will push back to you and say, look, we can't really do the accounts until they're done. Or worst case, we're going to have to charge you to reconcile those accounts. So please, 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 make sure you go through this list. I went to my reconciliation area. You can go company cog and you can go tools and reconcile from there. And all I did was I used the summary option, top right hand corner, to go to this area. Use this as your checklist. Tick those off. Once you have ticked them off, then you're more than happy then to reconcile all bank accounts going forward. And by this point, you've done most of the hard work. This is now just making sure we got the cherry in the top afterwards. So the first one I would recommend is jumping into your sales area, customers. It says here debtors, overdue does look reasonable. I would just jump into this overdue area here and just make sure none of these are non-outstanding invoices. Are there stuff that you're going to write off? Is it someone that's already paid and something's gone horribly wrong? This, I would just make sure, this is today's date, this is as of now. Just go through, just make sure you're happy with it. And that's going to be the easiest way to make sure your debtors are going to be correct. I'd do the same then for your bills. Jump into the bills area, have a look what's unpaid, and just make sure, should that be overdue 1,201 days ago? Probably not. I don't think Virgin Media are going to be letting me off that long. So realistically, I should be looking at making sure that's cleared. Maybe it's something I've paid elsewhere and just not recorded it. Whatever the thing is, I just need to be making sure that this unpaid option is correct. And it's what I expect to pay as of today so that we know we're okay. Once you've done them, your debtors and creditors overdue looks reasonable. Then I would review your accounts received payable summary and your accounts received payable aging summary. So under reports, I'm going to go into each of my areas. So I'm going to go to the who owes you, and I'm just going to look at the summary one. And again, I'm going to leave it at today's date at this point, and I'm just making sure there's nothing on here that looks wrong. I'm really looking for negative figures, anything like that. Items that are in that, you know, that could be current, but you know actually have already paid. Just have a brief look, make sure you're happy, and do the same with, if I go down to my expenses or what you owe, do the same with your age accounts payable. Leave it at today's date. You're going to go through this. You're just making sure you're absolutely happy that it looks reasonable at this point. And then the final bit is about current versus reporting date. This is a really, really handy way of doing things. So at the moment, I've got all of these items there sat as overdue. If I was to go at the top here and I went to the year end date, then what will happen is this will move based on that year. And what will happen is it will look at the aging method at the top. And it's going to default to a report date. But actually, if we move this to current and press run report, then these are the transactions now that are our problem. Anything that's removed off this report means that yes, they were a debtor or a creditor at the end of the accounting period, but they've now been cleared. And therefore they're okay because they were legitimately a creditor or debtor. Now they've been paid or we've received the money, we're okay with them now. What this area here will give you the confidence then that these transactions that are left are ones that realistically they shouldn't be there. They're still out of date of today, let alone at your year end. So I would go through here and clear them. A great example could be that both my PC World and my Virgin Media business in this one, I actually paid for my personal account. So really, I need to be marking them against director's loan and marking them as paid. VAT has actually been double counted. I've already shown the payment go through my bank account, but I forgot to show it through there. Really, I should never have put it on the bills area. That's on me. I should never have done it. And the CIS subcontract, well, there was a dispute and they're not going to pay it. So actually I need to put a credit note and credit against it so that it disappears. And realistically, my current aging method at my year end should always be nil. That's when you know that all your debtors and creditors are correct. And then some ad hoc ones. I always like to make sure my dashboard is absolutely spot on. On this channel, you know, for people who looked at it a long time, especially the business overview, I really recommend just making sure you're comfortable with what these numbers are saying and use this here, this area there, to be that area to make sure if you've got any control accounts in place or anything like that. For example, in mine, I have an eBay managed payment control that's £41.31 out. To me, that basically means that it's probably going to be an error somewhere. There's probably going to be £41.31 of sales or fees I haven't accounted for yet. So I really should be looking into that. Or that's going to be money that's owed to me by eBay itself. And I would use this as a bit of a checklist. Make sure you're comfortable with every number on there, because that's going to be really important. Review and adjust the balance sheet. So if you go to reports, and from there I'm going to go balance sheet, which will probably be in your favourites. Make sure that you change it to your financial year. So for me, I'm just going to do last year. And then realistically, you need to go down all of these items of the balance sheet and making sure you're comfortable with them. Now, this is a demo account. There's loads of items in there. But ultimately, your balance sheet should be, as at that time, you should be able to go through each one of those balances and agree them. Now, we've already done the bank, so we're happy with them. We've already done debtors and creditors, so we're happy with them. Now you're looking for anything else. Are there any control accounts outstanding? Are there any loan accounts that need to be reconciled? Are there any accounts that really shouldn't ever have been on the balance sheet in the first place? They're the sort of things you're going to be looking for and going through and complete it. Now, this could be quite a technical area, and this could be something you need to refer back to your accountant or book an MOT with us so that we can look at it for you. But ultimately, every number on that balance sheet, you should be able to say, yeah, I know that that's what my VAT liability is. That's correct. I know my corporation tax liability was this amount. That's correct. And if it varies one way or the other, we really should be adjusting for that accordingly. Because ultimately, when you sign your set of accounts, one of the things you're signing is that the balance sheet is absolutely spot on. So you need to be making sure that your balance sheet looks right within QuickBooks Online. Then there's monthly profit and loss. I love this report, and I put it in my favourites, but if you search for it, it'll come up again. And I'm just going to do the last year again and run report. Now, what this does is it brings your profit and loss account into a income at the top, cost of sales and expenses. But what it does nicely for you, it splits it into each individual month. And what that can be useful for is finding if there's any problems. For example, I can go through here and say, look, my rent has come through every single day, month should say, other than this May month here. So it looks like to me there's a mistake there, right? Either I've put that rent to the wrong category code, or I've not paid it, therefore I need to put it as a bill, or I've just completely and utterly missed it out of what I normally do, and I normally put it as a cash account, cash expense. I need to include that there. It's a great tool, and use this one to go through each individual transaction, see if there's anything missed. Again, for me, light and heat doesn't continue from October, November, December. It gives me that feeling that I forgot to put those last 3 months in there. So definitely have a look at this area. It's an absolute godsend. I love profit and loss by month. It gives you so much confidence in those numbers and gives you an opportunity to find out if there's any errors or not. Use this opportunity to make sure your settings are correct. So go to account and settings. One of the most important areas for you is that this company number and everything else is all included correctly there. Because if your accountant is going to be filing your accounts directly from QuickBooks, they're going to need to make sure these numbers are correct. So just have a look at there. And then from an advanced point of view, make sure that your first month of the financial year is correct. Go through and put that as the correct date. So many times we as accountants get that figure or get these accounts and that's not been changed. And that does mean your reports are completely incorrect at that point. So do just make sure that's been put correctly. And then what I would also recommend is closing the books at that point as well. Closing the books basically puts a line in the sand and say that we don't want any adjustments prior to that date. And that's going to be really useful for you. So yeah, do make sure you close the books at that point. And then finally, just make sure your accountant has access. So company cog, top right hand corner, manage users under your company. Make sure your accountant, make sure that their information is showing there. That's going to be the way that they can have access to be able to compile your accounts. Once they've got that access, they're going to be able to go in, they're going to be able to see things better, and they'll be able to make sure that everything's looking correct. So yeah, just make sure that they've got access to your account so that they will be able to do their work for you. And that's it. That is a quick breakdown of that checklist that's available for you. Make sure you use the link, go and get yourself a copy of it, and then use it. Do use it to wow your accountant going forward. And then trust me, you'll also see that that's the way that you can make sure there's no additional fees on your accounting services or year-end services when you do it this way, because you're providing them with data that they can have trust with and they can do their magic on. They can go through, make sure everything's in the right account. They can see if there's anything missing. and they'll be doing it all with most up-to-date data as possible. By far the best way of doing it. So please use this opportunity, go through that checklist and have a look and see if you can absolutely wow your year-end procedure. And there we have it. That has been your year-end checklist, free of charge for you to go out there and get it all correct. Let me know in the comments below, is there anything else that you normally check on the year-end procedure? Is there anything else that we're looking at? I was going to be putting things like fixed assets in and stuff like that, but they're a little bit too complicated. And ideally, really, from our point of view, that's the sort of thing that we just let our accountants, or from a client point of view, the accountant expects us to be dealing with. This is more about making sure those base records are correct. How are they exactly how you would expect them to be? Is your debtors right? Your credits right? Are your bank accounts right? If those elements are right, then work in progress, stock, on all those more complicated items, that can be what your accountant can come through and add that value for you. It's going to help you make sure that your accounts are as accurate as they possibly can be. Let me know in the comments below there if I missed anything. Let me know how you've got on with using the checklist, and hopefully that will help you. If it has, please, please, please consider using the subscribe button, using the like button, all of that sort of stuff. This channel continues to grow, and it's all thanks to each and every one of you. So thank you so much for supporting the channel, and if you can, support it a little bit more by using that little subscription button, just to make sure that you never miss a future video. My name's been Patrick. As always, this video has been an absolute pleasure to do for you, and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now. Don't you worry.